we've used the product rule, we've used the quotient rule. What do we have to use for the next one? Yes, great, the power rule. Okay, so we're going to use the power rule, which means that you can bring that power down where? In front. Good. So this would be 4 times log base 5 of x equals 8. Now, when you have something in front and you want to move it over, it's stuck with multiplication, so we're going to move it over using what? Division. So we're going to divide. So then we have log base 5 of x equals 2. Okay, and then from there, anytime it's a log, what do we want to do? Yes, write it as exponential. Okay, so write it as an exponential equation. So 5 to the power of 2 equals x. Well, what's 5 squared? 25. So that is your value for x. And then again, like I said, you have one answer. I'm fine with you doing a mental check where you just plug it in your head. So log base 5 of 25 to the 4th, is that going to be negative? No. Is that going to be 0? Okay, so it's not going to be an invalid solution, an extraneous solution. The only thing you'd have to worry about is if you did your math wrong. Okay? Okay, so let's do part B. So part B is going to be very similar. Again, you have an exponent. Anytime you have an exponent, you have to use the power rule. Okay, so that's going to go in front. So we have 2 times log base 3 of 3x equals 6. Okay, now based on what we did here, could you guys tell me what my next step is? Awesome. This is the place like where people get to on a quiz and sometimes they forget that they have to move that over. So remember, the goal is first get the log by itself, then get x by itself. So this is in front of the log, which is why I have to move it over. So division will undo that. Log base 3 of 3x equals 3. Okay, and then, Baral, will you tell me what my exponential function is going to be? Start with your base. So what's your base? Yep. And then what's your power? Okay. Yes. And again, remember, base, answer, exponent, 3 to the 3rd equals 3x. And now we're just going to evaluate. What is 3 to the 3rd? 27. 27 equals 3x, so I'll divide each side by 3. I'll get 9 equals x. I only have that one answer, so feel free to do a plug-in in your head. So 3 times 9, 27. 27 squared is going to be a positive number. Okay, so I don't have to worry about any extraneous solutions, any invalid solutions. Okay? All right. Now, we're going to go to part E. So part E, the first step is going to be to use what rule? Yeah, the quotient rule. Okay, so this means we're going to use the quotient rule. And this one's going to seem a little different. So this is the log of. The quotient rule means you take what's first, that goes on top, divided by, this goes on bottom, x divided by 4. Now that is not a common way that we see things. So we are gonna simplify this. Okay, this is like x divided by x over 4. Okay, so let's simplify. This is what we did earlier, right? If I'm dividing a fraction, my rule is what? Yep. So this would be x times 4 over x. Now there are a couple different ways you can think of it. Some people like putting the 1 on the bottom and then multiplying straight across. So you can see that you have 4x over x. But what is going to happen there? Yeah, the x's cancel and you're going to be left with what? 4. You're just going to be left with 4. So you simplified that. Now you have the log of 4 equals x. What do I do when I get here? You could rewrite it as 10 to the x equals 4. Is that going to have a nice answer? No. Don't we know how to do this on our calculator now? Yeah. What's the log of 4? How can I find it? You guys are so good at that exponential. So if you do have the log of 4 with the common log, you're just going to calculate that. So x equals the log of 4, and we're going to, again, 4 decimal places. So you can use the common log, so log of 4. Okay, enter. And 0.0205 ... So this is going to round up, and your final answer is going to be 0.6021. This is another one where you just have one answer. I know it's a decimal, but still you can do a mental math check. So you have a positive value here, so you're good. A positive divided by a positive is going to stay positive, so you're good. So you won't have any extraneous solutions. All right, you guys ready for the grand finale? Yes. All right, now this one's a little bit different because we have logs on 2 different sides. Okay, so even though they're the same log, I can't just set those equal to each other because I have this other number. So instead, what you're going to do is get all the logs on one side. Yes. Do you know why that would be the best decision? Yes. Then you get all the logs on one side and you get the number, the 3, on one side. Okay, so Tony said, yep, we got to add this over. That's exactly what we want to do. Then you have the 3 by itself, and then you have the log of x over 6 plus the log of 4x. And now you can use your special rules. Okay, so I'm going to give you a minute to simplify with your special rule. We know that the plus means you're going to be doing what with these two? Good. So this is the log of x over 6 times 4x. So we'll do a sidebar. That's just basically where I simplify on the side. Okay, so then I don't have to keep writing everything again. So I have x over 6 times 4x over 1. Okay, so what do I get on the top? What's x times 4x? 4x squared. 6 times 1 will be 6. Can I reduce that any further? Yeah, I can reduce the fraction, right? What goes into both 4 and 6? 2. So if I divide them both by 2, 2x squared over 3. So then my next step, you can just write this. 3 equals the log of 2x squared over 3. And now I have a single log. So anytime I have a single log here, right, what do I want to do? You guys know what to do. Rewrite it, yeah, as exponential. Oh, and then you can't see the base, so what's the base? Great. And then if you, so this would be, bay would kind of be a little backwards here. If you like using the bay and you're like, okay, I don't like how those two are switched, you can rewrite it. You can rewrite it so it looks like this. And like that sometimes. Just remember your base is 10 if you can't see it. Your base answer exponent. Okay, and then others of you will be like, nope, I know how to do that. 10 cubed equals 2x squared over 3. So when you can evaluate. What is 10 cubed? 1,000. And then, I know we've been dealing a lot with fractions today. We can do this in 2 steps. You guys want to do this in 2 steps? 2-stepper? Okay, because your first step would be to multiply by what? Great, yep, multiply by 3. The reason why I say that is because, look, we've done all of this with mental math. Okay, and then divide by 2, so 1,500. Okay, so this would be one that you could see on the no calculator section. When you get to x squared, what do you have to do to both sides? Great. And then if you're doing this without a calculator, first you got to remember what with the square root? or negative. And then if I'm doing this with add a calculator, I want to leave it as a radical. And what am I looking for under the radical? Yes, those perfect squares. What is the perfect square in 1500? You guys got this. Yep. 100 times what? 15. Because what's the square root of 100? Okay. And then remember, this is plus or minus, so how many answers do I have? What do I have to do? Okay, but remember, sometimes when you check it, you're going to see right away when it's invalid and when it's not valid. Okay? So I'm going to make this check as painless as possible. I'll show you the check of the whole thing too. Okay? So with your check, I just want to see the negative 10 root 15, and we're just going to plug it into the original equation here. So it's 3 minus log of, and then if you were to multiply 4 times this, do you know what it would be? It would just be negative 40 root 15. And then, uh-oh, why is that a problem? It's negative. And then even over here, if you have negative 10 root 15 divided by a positive number, that's going to be negative. So all you have to do for that is the first step, and then tell me what's happening. Okay? Not a valid solution because you can't take the log of a negative. Okay, and then for the positive one, I'm going to let you do a shortened version today. I know you guys have been working hard and been hanging with me, so I'll just show you what the thing would look like. But on a test, I want to give you one that complex, okay? So this would be 3 minus the log of, and then now this would be positive 40 root 15. Okay, and then that would equal the log of positive 10 root 15 over 6. So are both of those positives? Yeah, okay. So positive, positive, so you're good. Your final solution would be 10 root 15. And again, that would be the only thing that you would write on the line. Okay? Do you guys want to see what the full check would look like? It is kind of scary. Well, if you're doing it by hand, it's kind of scary. But I'll just show you. Eventually, you would get to a point where you would just have the log of 1,000. And what's the log of 1,000? 3. So then they would be equal, and that would be wonderful. Okay. So again, I'm just going to stress to you that doing the homework for 4-5 and 4-4 is really going to be imperative for your success on your quiz that is Monday, okay? So even if you didn't have time last night to do the 4-4, I would make it a priority over the weekend to at least do some of those problems. And then tomorrow we're going to have a review.